All right, let's see if I can remember how this works.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the hour where there's nothing left to prove. Experimental lack of concern. It's your perfect world being burned. This is the maniacal hour. Pure 100% underground. Powered by the emotion of self-passion. This is how we get down. Extra read all about it. Evidence coming to take control. Extra read all about it. Coming to take control. Lock and load, steal souls and watch it explode. Dispatch the death squad and watch it go. Serial killers, cadavers, murderous psychos. As the hour goes, it takes the time expires as we live dead, revitalized. Surprised by the high with red still in our eyes. The pleasure is all ours to give you the power. This is the maniacal hour.
I take like 2 months off, and I just realized how dated that intro video is in the span of 2 months. It's absolutely ridiculous. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Blow Off. It is Monday, June 1st, 2022. I am your host, Dr. Jargo, PhD, coming to you from the Evening Sun Studios in beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana. And I'm joined alongside my tag team partner. He's the GAG from the PWC. He's my man, Jimmy T. Thanks for holding it down, brother. Welcome back to your show.
No, thank you. And boy, am I glad to hear that voice again. No shit, bro. It's been way too long, man. And Jesse's back again. Jargo's back. So tell everyone, not just your friends, because I'm just glad you're back, dude. Welcome back to your show.
It's good to be back, man. It's been a long process to get here. We had to rewire the studio and buy some new studio gear because that's what you do when you have the studio all torn apart. And so you build in new stuff. So if it doesn't sound good, just give it a little bit of time because we're still kind of experimenting with levels and whatnot. But you know, Jimmy, 2 months is what it took me to get everything kind of reestablished around here. I say kind of because my desk is a mess. So tell me, anything going on in the world of professional wrestling while I was gone? Holy shit, bro.
Is there ever, dude? I mean, geez, we got the Kota Ibushi saga in Japan. I don't know if it's suicide or if it's Yakuza, but man, that is just crazy. We've got the MJF situation that seems to be on the verge of absolutely blowing up. And dude, there's all sorts of stuff going on in the world of professional wrestling, especially since you've been gone.
I know, and now we have sometimes the best answer is really the only answer. Best of Super Juniors approaching their finals. Hiromu Takahashi versus El Desperado. The greatest love story in wrestling continues. I'm thinking it's Despy's year, but you can never count out the time bomb. I mean, he has won it 3 of the last 4 years.
Also, don't count out our Phantasmo. I've just got a feeling he's a Smokey, dude. He's my Smokey for this anyway.
Well, but we're down to the final now. It's Despy.
Oh, so it's
Hiromu.
done officially.
It's Despy
so he ends up missing out. Oh, damn! Because I was just looking at the what do you call it, the standings, and I thought Phantasmo was on equal 12 points, wasn't he? With El Desperado.
But you have to look at who won that matchup. It was El Desperado versus the LP. So Despy wins by tiebreaker. Great tournament for El Phantasmo. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, Phantasmo's time is going to come, especially now Japan's starting to open up. We're going to start letting Gaijin in again. And I don't mean professional wrestlers like Jimmy. You or I could go to Japan if we want to, starting, I think it's today, actually.
Right.
They're opening up the borders. They're going to let everybody back into Japan.
Absolutely. I mean, it only takes me 5 hours to get there. So, man, I actually do want to go and actually do a Wrestle Kingdom one day for sure, man. Maybe in the next couple of years.
Somehow I moved further away from Japan, and I don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense. Let's get the Japan stuff out of the way so we don't bore people completely to death. But this Kota Ibushi situation has to be addressed because when this whole thing started, you had sent me a message and you were like, hey, what do you make of this Ibushi situation? And I said, I'm still trying to find out the context as to what is going on here. And you were like, well, I'm pretty sure I got the context. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that you don't.
Yeah. No, and you were right. That's the irony of it.
So I don't want to get too far into it because I don't know what's going on. And I'm not sure anybody truly knows what's going on. Here's what we do know. The relationship between New Japan Pro Wrestling and Kota Ibushi is not in a good place in any way, shape, or form. It's not good for Kota. It's not good for the company. It's not good for the fans. I don't know what the answer is, but evidently New Japan's plan is to keep Kota Ibushi under contract, and hopefully Kota will come back to work. I don't know if that's going to happen. I genuinely do not know at this point, but I do not think that New Japan Pro Wrestling is going to let Kota Ibushi out of his contract. Now, there's a lot going on with Kikuchi, and there's a lot going on with Dick Togo, and there's a whole lot of nothing going on with Hiroshi Tanahashi, which is very, very odd to me. I mean, wouldn't you think, Jimmy, that the one guy in the locker room that everybody looks to for an answer would comment on this at some point? Because it's still Hiroshi Tanahashi. He is still the ace of that locker room. If something needs to be said in the media, it's going to come from Tana, and I have heard nothing.
Not just from Tana, but nothing from Kenny too, dude, which is odd.
Well, okay, and Carly and I were discussing this. Kenny is posting a lot of stuff of him and Kota.
That's true.
And I have a feeling if the forbidden word that we're not supposed to say, if that is what's going on here, Kenny is smart enough to know that anything he says is just going to make it worse. Anything that he says in a public forum is just going to make it worse. So we're seeing a lot of pictures of the two of them. We're seeing video clips of the two of them like, hey, I got your back. You're my boy. I'm in your corner. But I'm not going to make things worse for you and your mother than they already are.
It's crazy, dude. I mean, I can't believe what's going on. And they did apologize, and I'm talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling. They actually have apologized, and they are, like you said, keeping him under contract. But last time I remember, I'm pretty sure he didn't really accept that apology.
Ibushi's not one to accept an apology. It's just not how the dude is wired. I mean, anybody who knows anything about Kota Ibushi might be the most free-spirited professional wrestler that I've ever seen in my life. Like, this dude does it for the art. It's not for, the competition. It's not for the superstardom. It's not for the money. He does it for the art, for better or for worse. And there are some things in Japanese culture that do not translate to the West. Even and I mean, I include Australia. You're very much a westernized country, right?
Of course, no doubt.
But especially inside of the language, and as I'm reading all these tweets of people, translating what Ibushi is saying, and they're using words like suicide or murder. Well, that word pretty much in Japanese means exactly the same thing. So whose translation am I reading? What's really going on here? And until people that can speak English start commenting on this thing, it's really hard to figure out just what in the hell is going on.
Well, 90% of the IWC claim it's suicide. I actually agree with you with what you told me originally. I actually do think it has something to do with a hit and with the Yakuza. Everybody knows that.
That's the forbidden word, Jimmy. We don't say that word.
I said it. I actually said it. I mean, so if people don't understand what
Jimmy's going to be missing a finger the next time you see him.
I know. Well, it's true. I mean, surely people know that the Yakuza actually run things over there at Bushi Road and New Japan Pro Wrestling and TV Asahi.
Well, I mean, and this is the thing that is so weird about it with Tanahashi for me. Because Tanahashi and really the Three Musketeers, Shibata, Nakamura, Tanahashi, ran that shit out of the company. Like the whole like Yakuza thing, like we left that in the past. We're like, it's done and it's over with. And then Jushin Liger retired. And to fill the position left by Jushin Liger, and I mean in the office, they bring in Dick Togo. And Dick Togo had those ties. We all knew that he had those ties. And it was like, oh, it's not a big deal because, he's just like a lower level guy and nothing's going to happen. And then the freaking pandemic hit. And everybody was wondering, how does New Japan keep running shows when everything else is shut down?
Exactly. Especially the way the Japanese government and how strict they were with shit. True point.
It does seem like the Yakuza presence has really risen since the pandemic hit. Like they were like, okay, now is the time. This is our opportunity that we can restake our claim to on down the line. And I am worried at this point about New Japan Pro Wrestling because the product has not been good and the attendance is not good. We were still doing the clap crowds for freaking ever. And we couldn't get the Gaijin into the country. Like things are starting to open up. Maybe things are going to start looking a little bit better here. But at this point, with everything Ibushi is saying, I really question what the hell is going on there. And it's like you said, Jimmy, I don't know at what level it is because at no point, every time I read these tweets from Kota Ibushi, they keep talking about the president,
Right.
the president. Who's the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling? I have absolutely no idea. I know who the chairman of New Japan Pro Wrestling is, and that's Chairman Sukabayashi, who has not been mentioned by name. And I keep hearing president, not chairman, which really gives me a pause. And I'm like, so who exactly is Kota Ibushi mad at? Is he mad at TV Asahi for sending Kikuchi back over to New Japan Pro Wrestling?
That's what it is.
Or is he mad at Bushi Road, which is the parent company of New Japan Pro Wrestling? I mean, like, I don't know who Kota Ibushi is mad at. I know he's mad at Kikuchi, but I don't even know who Kikuchi works for. Kikuchi worked for New Japan Pro Wrestling, got fired from New Japan Pro Wrestling, went to work for TV Asahi, became a professional wrestling writer who happened to work with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and now he's working back at New Japan Pro Wrestling. But I don't know if he's on New Japan's payroll. I don't know if he's still on TV Asahi's payroll. I don't know if he's on Bushi Road's payroll. I have no idea what's going on, and these are the questions that people just don't know to ask, and they don't dare ask inside of the Japanese media, and without that language barrier, it's so hard to get any kind of straight answers. But I do find it weird. Hiroshi Tanahashi isn't saying a word. Katsuyori Shibata, not saying a word. Rocky Romero, not saying a word. Kenny Omega, not saying a word. These are the people that you would look to for a comment. And their silence speaks volume to me.
It does. And just quietly, the president for New Japan apparently is Takami Obari.
And the fact that I don't even know who Takami is speaks volume about Takami and his personality, right? I mean, like, does Sukabayashi report to him, or does Takami report to Sukabayashi? I don't know.
That's a good question. I actually have no idea who reports to who and which one is the biggest sort of title. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But this is crazy. I'm pretty sure I'm leaning towards Kota Ibushi being more upset with TV Asahi, man. You know what I'm saying? And what's going on there with what's his name again? That guy, Taguchi. That's it. Who's gone back and forth between the TVs and the company because they did fire him like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he was the head of merch, and then him and Ibushi got into it. Like going back way back then, he goes to work for TV Asahi. And now he's back in New Japan, but I don't know under whose payroll. That's the thing. I don't understand what his role is inside of the company. Is he still just a writer, or?
Well, that's what they say.
I don't know.
They say he's a writer right now, but there's something more to this guy, and he's obviously. And they also say that he could be a Yakuza representative also within the company. So,
and we know that he's Togo's boy. That's pretty much all we know.
And there's your connection.
And where is Gato in all of this? Like,
he's not saying a word, dude.
It's weird, man. The whole freaking situation is weird.
And apparently also Kota is weighing at about 75 pounds, he claims. If that's true, that's crazy, dude. How can that even be possible?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
Ibushi's a weird dude. Ibushi is a weird dude.
I mean, he claims he's that skinny right now, like he's got no muscle. I mean, I don't know, but that's what he said on Twitter a few weeks ago.
Well, I mean, he hasn't been doing anything. Absolutely nothing. Like, we haven't seen him since Wrestle Kingdom.
Has anyone even ran into him in public even? Like, has he appeared anywhere?
Not that I'm aware of.
Wow. I'm worried for him, man. I'm hoping he pulls out of this okay, but where do you go from here, man? Because I don't actually see him going back to New Japan at all.
DDT. I think that is the best place for Kota Ibushi. And I hate to say that because nobody watches DDT. I don't watch DDT.
Sure.
But DDT is the only place I know that gives Kota Ibushi the creative freedom to do what it is Kota Ibushi does and wants to do.
He could still also appear in AEW because they've also got that connection also, not just with New Japan, but with DDT too.
Well,
So-
but this is the kind of thing where if Kota Ibushi would show up on AEW television and there's something going on with Kota Ibushi and New Japan could be like, you know what? Forbidden Door is off.
Imagine that on the 11th
I mean-
hour.
Look at how they treated Impact Wrestling for 2 decades.
True.
I
I agree
mean-
100%. I mean, but the Impact Wrestling didn't do them any favors either, though, when you think about it.
No, absolutely freaking not. Absolutely not.
Look at the way they used to like portray Okada at one point.
Yeah,
How
Okada.
crazy is that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. How crazy, man. I can't believe, and I remember that too, man.
So do I. Speaking of
Crazy.
Okada, Kazuchika Okada, Switchblade Jay White, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Okada's not dropping this belt, right?
No, and it's a shame because I actually wouldn't mind Switchblade actually getting the title back.
I mean, I don't mind it, but I mean, Jay hasn't been in Japan for like a year and a half.
That's true too. I mean, he's been in the States for like a year.
Yeah.
That's how long it took him to actually get back to Japan. 1 fucking year. That's unbelievable when you think about it.
It's incredible.
And it's incredible. And I guess they do need to build him up again because let's be honest, all the promotions that he worked for here in the States didn't do shit for him.
No, they certainly did not. Let me just play Fantasy Booker for a second. And then we'll talk about Double or Nothing. We kind of use this as a segue into Double or Nothing. CM Punk, of course, the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Forbidden Door, of course, coming up in Chicago. Bulls representing on Jimmy T's dome right there. There's no chance. Like, no chance. We're not doing champion versus champion title for title, right? Like
No.
there's a 0% chance. We're not doing that, right?
No chance. No chance. It's not happening. Because how do you book this match?
You put Kazuchika Okada over.
I would
Okada
too.
walks away
I would
with
too.
all the gold, and
Absolutely.
and then Kenny has to go get the belt back, right?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That's
That
the
would be awesome.
storyline that you go with there, right? Like, no question.
Well, funny you say that because CM Punk did say after the Double or Nothing media scrum, he did say he only wants this to be a short-term thing with him carrying the title. He doesn't want to hold it for long, apparently. That's what he claims. So maybe, just maybe, could we get Kazuchika Okada becoming not just your IWGP World Champion, but your AEW World Champion also?
I mean, it's the best story that they could possibly do. I mean, without
I'd love
question,
to see that.
right?
I would love to see that, and then get Kenny to actually come and collect it back for AEW. But there's only one problem though, Jago. As good as that sounds, there's word that Kenny could possibly not come back till at least 2023, apparently.
So,
Well, yeah, do you think we can go that long with Okada being AEW champion?
okay, so let me ask the question a different way.
Okay.
Do you really think we could go that long with the best professional wrestler on the planet holding, the world championships of, multiple? Yes, I think that could happen. I mean, until you show me a professional wrestler better than Kazuchika Okada, he should have all the belts. He should be the WWE Universal Champion, the WWE World Champion, the AEW World Champion, the Ring of Honor World Champion, the MLW World Champion, the Pro Wrestling Noah World Champion. He should be the Zimbabwe World Champion. I mean, like, all of the belts. Give Okada all the belts.
Oh man, dude. I
You
mean,
didn't know I
fuck
spoke Zimbabwe, did you?
it. Anyway, yeah. I mean, fuck it. Might as well put in Ghana World Championship as well.
Right.
Tahiti,
Somalia.
Somalia.
Yes. As long as he can
Oh,
dodge the
man.
bombs that Joe Biden's dropping over there. I mean, he'll be all right.
Oh shit! Fuck it. He's just the whole universe, not just WWE Universal Champion,
Yes.
but the whole universe.
Yes.
Look, that would be great as long as he can actually appear in the States a lot more frequently than he does in Japan. Because there's no way AEW is going to allow him just to stay in Japan and do
No.
his thing.
So
That's the problem.
So with CM Punk as the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, because that completely changes the equation for me when it comes to Forbidden Door.
It
What
does,
is
and
what is the match that you want to see? Because Punk was like, I want Okada, I want Tanahashi, I want Ospreay. Like he named off several guys,
he
but
did.
I did notice there was one that was missing that he kind of let out.
That he let out that was missing from New
Yeah,
Japan.
well, one guy.
Well, he didn't mention Naito, that's for sure.
Well, it's Naito. Who's the one
Yeah.
guy in New Japan Pro Wrestling you want to see CM Punk fight?
In New
There's
Japan,
only
for
one
me-
answer. There's one answer, Jimmy.
Don't say Tanahashi.
No. It's fucking Kenta. Kenta versus
Oh,
CM
yeah.
Punk.
Of course, but that
And
can wait
who,
though, dude.
who did CM Punk not mention? Fucking Kenta.
That's true. All right, well then there's your matchup right there. That's what's going to happen, 100%.
But I don't like that match now that CM Punk is the AEW World Heavyweight Champion because I feel like Kenta needs to win that fucking match.
I agree. I actually don't like this matchup right now either. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know why. You're right. I agree with you. It's weird, dude.
So what do you do? Who do you give CM Punk in Chicago at Forbidden Door?
Oh, man, I guess you do go with Kenta though. I mean, him not mentioning him.
There's no way
on
that you
purpose.
can have Punk lose to Kenta in Chicago.
He won't.
As
There's no way he's
AEW World Heavyweight Champion.
No chance.
But
No chance at all.
I do not see Kenta laying down for CM Punk. I just don't see it.
Oh,
After all the years and after everything that has been said between those two guys, I don't see it happening.
Well, maybe you end it in the schmoz. You go for your dusty finish. It'll piss off everyone though, that's for sure.
Yeah, and AEW is doing that way too much.
They are.
That's one of those things I noticed at Double or Nothing, where it was just like, oh, a distraction finish. There's
dude,
another
standard.
distraction finish. Oh, the lights went out. The lights are back on. Distraction
Fuck,
finish.
I hate that shit, bro.
And it's just like, my God, can we just get a matchup where it's like this guy was better than that guy and beat him in a singles match? Like,
I
what is so
100% agree with you.
goddamn hard about that?
I don't know. That I'm confused too, Jago, because they keep doing this shit, bro. Now every time the lights go out, I'm set up for disappointment, man. You know what I mean? Because I got excited. I must admit, when I saw those lights go out, I thought maybe could it be Bray Wyatt, say, because it only makes sense for someone to debut with the lights out, like someone like a Bray, because we've got all this darkness in the ring.
Evil
no, it was
Darkness,
Julia
House
Hart.
of Black, Triangulo de la Muerta, and no, we get a goth cheerleader.
Yep.
I mean,
And
goth
to say
cheerleaders are hot. I'm not hating on goth cheerleaders. But
dude, it was just such a
goth
disappointment. I was so let down, bro. You don't understand. My heart sunk. It just went, really?
Right. Well, let's kind of run through the card. We talked a little bit about the main event. I
Right.
thought the main event was really good. I really enjoyed Hangman Page versus CM Punk. I did not like the finish. I did not like the ref bump. I did not like Hangman Page choosing good over evil and it costing him the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Even though I'm fine with him dropping the title, I didn't think it was going to happen here. I thought it was going to happen in Chicago at All Out. What do you make of the decision to put the title on CM Punk? Was it the right decision? Was it the right time?
I actually think it was the wrong decision at the wrong time anyway. Because let's be honest, I would have gone with Chicago with Punk getting the belt. It felt so uneventful. Did the fans really pop when you think about it when he won it? Heck, he was just sitting there in shock.
But the show was, people
I know.
they had to take a nap in the middle of the show so they could
You're
wake
right.
up for the main event. I mean, because 4 hours
true.
and 45 minutes or whatever the hell it was. I mean,
It's
come
crazy,
on,
bro.
dude.
I was losing my mind. Come main event, honestly, dude, I was starting to lose interest. I'm not kidding. Like, that's how crazy this pay-per-view was. And to be honest, it was typical, man. It didn't start off that well, right? Yeah, sure, the fans were gassed out by this point and tired, but they were still kind of shitting on the match too, bro. They kind of were, man. And I just feel like it wasn't as eventful, Punk winning right now, than it could have been in Chicago.
When you do a babyface versus babyface matchup,
That too.
I mean, you're already fighting downhill because I mean, you want one guy to win, you want one guy to lose, right? And it
Right.
was like even the way that the fans were during the match, right? It's like CM Punk, CM Punk, and then it would fade out, and then the cowboy shit chant would start. Like they were so polite that they would actually you go ahead and finish your chant, and then we'll start our chant. But at least
Yeah.
it wasn't, both these guys because I fucking hate that. I hate the fight forever bullshit. Like,
Oh,
I mean, at least the crowd was good about the way that they kind of played back and forth with both of these guys being baby faces. The way things were set up, I thought for sure Punk was turning. I thought for sure CM Punk was going to turn and Hangman Page was going to be like, I told you. I told you he was a piece of shit. I've been
yeah.
telling you for weeks that that's what's going on here. You should believe me and screw that guy, right? But instead, we get the whole thing with the belt, and I did not like the finish. I didn't like the whole closing sequence to what I thought was a pretty good match, and really the only match on this show that I will go back and watch for the sheer enjoyment of the match. I'm still watching Wardlow versus MJF, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. But everything else on this show was just complete filler garbage that could have been on a Dynamite. We did not need 13 matches on this show. You could have gave me a 5-match show, got in, got out in 2.5 hours, and I would have been a happier Jar.
Me too. And like, for example, the Darby Allin and Kyle O'Reilly match, short, like, really did not need to happen on this card. Okay, they could have waited for Dynamite. Same with the, let's be honest, Jug, I hate to say it, but the Scorpio Sky match and Ty Conti, Sammy Guevara, that 6-man
Had no
mixed
business
match
being on this show.
bullshit, right?
I've got the card here, right? So Wardlow, MJF, absolutely put that on the show. We'll talk about
I would
that.
have had that main event, to be honest with you, Jago.
It had the most heat. I mean,
Absolutely the most
without
heat
question.
by a mile.
Hardys versus Young Bucks.
Oof.
Yeah, okay, maybe it makes the show, but there's no way in hell it goes 19 minutes and 15 seconds.
Absolutely
No
not.
chance. It was so
No
overindulgent. Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay. That
10
should have been
seconds flat.
it should have been on Rampage. It shouldn't have even been on Dynamite. House of Black versus Triangolo de la Muerta could have been on Dynamite. Adam Cole versus Samoa Joe should have been in fucking Ring of Honor. Dr. Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho should have been on fucking Dark Elevation. American Top Team versus whatever the hell it is that they're doing to Frankie Kazarian should have been on Dynamite. Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb belonged on the show. Jericho
Right.
Appreciation Society versus Blackpool LA Combat Club. Absolutely should have put that on the show. No chance in hell it should have went 22 minutes and 45 seconds.
No way. No
Ju-
fucking way.
Jurassic Express versus Keith Lee and Swerve versus Team Taz should have been the main event of a Dynamite. Like, this was not a pay-per-view card. You have like 4
You're right.
matches that were worthy of being on a pay-per-view.
You're 100% right, man. And I'm glad you mentioned some other matches too, because a lot of the IWC would probably absolutely put their arms up in like hoorah, because they'll say, no, but the Keith Lee Swerve match should have been on the pay-per-view and whatnot, and Jungle Express, whatever. But you're
I
right.
see no reason that match should have been on pay-per-view. Now, if they would have done this on a Dynamite and there was some kind of
Right.
chicanery, Jurassic Express retains, and the team that did not get pinned had challenged Jurassic Express for the tag titles in a 1-on-1, 2-on-2, you know what I mean, team
Right.
versus team, I would have been fine with that on the pay-per-view. I hate triple threat matches on the fucking pay-per-view. I absolutely hate it unless you have built to a triple threat match for a reason.
Right, which there wasn't.
No, there was
you know
no
what?
reason.
I'll be honest, the best match on the card, honestly, in my opinion, right, which is a shame because it should have gotten more sort of heat during the match, but because I guess the fans were pretty gassed, was Serena Deeb against Thunder Rosa, dude. Honestly.
I think the problem there is it's good wrestling, but neither one of their personalities is clicking.
That's
mean,
true
like,
too.
Something is missing. Like, there's no heat there. Like Serena Deeb is really freaking good. Between the ropes, she might be pound for pound the
Absolutely.
best athlete inside of
For
AEW,
sure.
but she has no personality. Like the one thing that
I've
people
said
are
it
going
too,
to
bro.
remember about Serena Deeb was when she shaved her goddamn head. That's the one thing that people remember about Serena Deeb. And Thunder
That is
Rosa
society.
is basically Hangman Page. The money was in the chase, not the reign, right? Like people
Mm.
were really behind Thunder Rosa to go and beat Britt Baker, win that championship. And now even Tony Khan doesn't know what the hell to do with her. She's only had like I saw a stat, like 25 minutes of screen time since she won that
Including this
title.
match. Including the last match, yeah. Before that, it was 17 minutes, Jago.
I mean, what the hell, dude?
17 fucking minutes. Think about that for a minute. But it's true. And I dare say, they should have pulled the trigger with Thunder Rosa before she even won the title, because even at that point, they cooled her down big time, bro. She was cooled down hard. But if you go back 2 months before that,
They should have done
she
it
was
at
red hot.
It should have been
Right.
at
They should have done it
rather than
then.
Revolution. Yep.
And they didn't do it for some reason. You know what I mean? So they fucked up Thunder Rosa themselves, and that's on them. You know what I'm saying? And even now, while she's the champion, no one gives a shit. No one cares, man.
Nope. I completely agree. Best match on the show for me, pre-show match, Hookhausen. You bet. Hookhausen defeat Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling. I've come to the conclusion that Hook's sole purpose in life is to not laugh at Danhausen. And Danhausen's sole purpose in life is to make Hook laugh. Like that is what's going on here, and I love it. It's absolutely freaking hilarious to me.
And I'll be honest, I saw Hook actually crack a smile at least maybe 2 or 3 times.
As long as you don't make eye contact, you're all right.
He no-sold it. But I saw his lips was sort of edging to like a smile, and he wanted to laugh, but he no-sold it. So, hats off to him. But yeah, look, man, there's room for this haha in AEW. For whatever reason, these two click. They've got chemistry. You know what I mean? And Danhausen's there just for the laughs, and Hook's there to fucking, clean up for Danhausen pretty much. You know what I mean? Get the hot tag, finish the match.
And I very much appreciate Tony Schiavone thinking that Danhausen's first name is Dan and his last name is Hausen. Like that just popped the ever loving shit out of me for one reason or another. Tony Schiavone just calling him Dan. Like it's just Dan. Don't worry about Dan. It's just Dan. Oh, you don't know Dan Hausen? My friend Dan Hausen?
Have you seen him without his makeup and stuff?
Oh yeah.
How trippy is it, man? I mean, he's a completely different person, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I love it.
It reminds me of like Darby Allin's brother, though, long lost brother, bro. Without the face paint and shit, I could see them two sort of having a thing.
I could too, unfortunately.
Oh boy, can you imagine that? Hopefully, it's not as Danhausen, but where it's like, hey, Darby Allin, we can,
the Andy
we can
Kaufman.
do something here. Oh yeah, and
He's
he doesn't
Andy
even
Kaufman.
give credit to freaking Andy Kaufman, bro. He mentions all this other shit, but Andy Kaufman. And
I know.
think to myself,
That's
fucked.
Yeah, because as soon as he says it, everybody's going to be like, "Oh wait, that's it. I get it now."
I can't believe that many people are not clued on yet, bro.
It's ridiculous.
Can you believe it? I feel like it's just you and I. For real, bro.
Carly's the one that was like, the first time I showed her Danhausen, she was like, "It's Andy Kaufman," and I was like, "Holy shit!"
It's literally Andy Kaufman. It really is, man.
It's Demon Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, if anyone checks out Andy Kaufman shit, you'll come back and say, you boys are right. I mean, because it's facts, man. It is. Absolutely. And does not give him credit.
So let's talk about MJF. What the hell is MJF doing? I don't know. So I guess the question is this a work that turned into a shoot that went back to being a work? Or is this a shoot that became a work that's back to being a shoot? Because there's clearly something going on here from what I have heard backstage. But I'm not exactly sure what in the hell it is. But I do know this. MJF is fucked up.
Yep.
No matter how you slice this, MJF is fucked up. Because you're either cutting off all of the leverage that you had for any kind of contract negotiation, or you're just alienating the fans and the people that are paying your paycheck. Like I'm not sure which way this thing is going, but no matter how you slice it, this is not a good thing.
It's not, man. But I still think it's a work. It has to be, bro. Because MJF is not that dumb, surely. Unless WWE have come in, right, and literally offered to pay out his contract, and this is his way to get out. You don't know. You never know. They could have made a play like that, right? I know it's illegal. Technically, it's tampering. I get it. But there's no governing body to say that's illegal.
The thing that is so weird is I'm hearing like, because at first I was like, MJF is getting terrible advice from somebody.
Right.
And then I was told, no, he's just not taking the advice that he's getting.
There's that too.
So what changed? Because it wasn't that long ago that MJF was like the company guy, right? Like we were all looking at MJF as, you know, not only one of the pillars, but the potential face of this company for a very long time. What happened? What changed? And the only thing I can come up with is Cody.
See what I mean, dude? Think about it.
When you think about it, when did everything change with MJF? It was when Cody left and went to WWE.
It's no secret that Cody and MJF are actually pretty close. I mean, that's a fact. They are very close. Do not be surprised if Cody is the middleman with him and WWE in negotiations. And this shit, there's only one way he's doing this, and that's WWE somehow interfering with all this, dude. It has to be. Otherwise, it's a work, man, right? Look, it has to be a work because you're right. I mean, wouldn't that fuck his chances? Wouldn't WWE look at that like, oh, we can't have a guy like this on our roster the way he's acting?
Well, that's why I'm not thinking, only that, but like, you know, Vince is the kind of motherfucker that'd be like, you know, well, we were gonna pay you $1 million, but now the only other place you can go is MLW, so we'll pay you $300,000. Yeah.
Well, I'm hearing he's making like 150, bro. Think about that for a minute.
Well, here's what's happening.
That's
right?
some good money, though.
But MJF is looking at this like he's a professional football player who plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's the way he's looking at it. Like, I'm a rookie who signed a deal, you know, 3 years ago, and I have outperformed my contract, and now I want you to overpay me for the money that you didn't pay me the first time around. That's very much kind of the impression that I'm getting from talking to people behind the scenes at AEW, that's kind of what's going on here. But I'm baffled by this decision making. Why would you alienate half of your negotiating leverage? Like, you at least want to make
that stupid.
Like, and he's still got 1.5 years on his contract. Like, we have seen how Tony Khan handles this situation, Brian Cage.
Yeah.
Like, so you're going to just sit at home and collect your $150,000 for the next 1.5 years? What's your value to WWE when you haven't been on TV in 1.5 years?
That's why it's either he's the most stupidest person on the planet, which I doubt he is, or this is a complete work. And if it's a work type of deal, WWE would have to be in his ear telling him what to do, man.
I mean, it is
via Cody. I mean, the link is there.
Well, and the way this match went down, the match only went 7 minutes and 30 seconds.
He got buried, dude. Straight up. He really did.
I mean, it was a squash. It was an absolute squash. This is how you treat people when they're on their way out of the territory and you're trying to make the new monster.
Well, is it possible WWE are willing to pay out his contract? It can't be that much. If he's getting paid peanuts, that means it's peanuts to pay out, bro.
That doesn't mean that Tony Khan has to accept it. It's only $150,000 to a billionaire.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Think
it is
about
more
that for
worth
a second.
it. It is more worth it to Tony Khan to pay MJF $150,000 to stay at home for the next year.
Now I'm convinced even more that WWE have come into it, man, and offered him $1 million contract or something like that, right? Because think about it, dude. It's peanuts to pay out. Even if WWE have to pay double, say, for Khan to let go of him, right? I'm sure they would.
Where
because he's worth it.
where does Wardlow go from here?
It's a good question. I mean, where does Wardlow go from here? Unless
Like-
he's not going for a TNT or World Championship, they got to
Well,
tread carefully from now on.
Everybody is so high on Wardlow, and I get it. All right. I like Wardlow a lot too.
Right.
But there is something to being the guy who's playing off of MJF, right?
That's true.
Like how is he going to handle working with Sammy Guevara? How's it going to work working with Scorpio
Well-
Sky, Frankie Kazarian, Keith Lee, Swerve Strickland, when you don't have somebody with the wit of MJF to help you come up with this shit? Like, now I'm really curious, what the hell are we going to do with Wardlow?
He's hit the pinnacle, no pun intended, man. Right now, he's that hot that they should just put the belt on him. Huh. I mean, seriously, fuck it. Even on Dynamite, make him number one contender and beat Punk. That would get a lot of people talking. Imagine that.
I have a feeling he's going to be the one to beat Scorpio, and I don't like that either.
I think he will too. I mean, it's Sammy Guevara now, after losing that match in that 6-man, he's not allowed to go for the TNT Championship anymore, remember?
And praise Jesus Christ for that.
Absolutely. So I think Wardlow's safe from Sammy Guevara, but otherwise he would have to squash all those guys. Let's be honest, dude. When you think about it, man,
Right?
they've put him that hot that you got to squash these guys. It's the only way.
Kind of like Goldberg did to Hogan. Just squash
Pretty
him.
much.
But if
Dude.
you remember, Goldberg was the US champion before he went after.
He was.
So
You're
I
right.
think Scorpio,
Oh,
sorry, bro.
Oh, he's gone. He's next.
Enjoy that purple and gold belt while you can. But
Oh boy, that's a shame. I mean, it's the only logical step, right? And then him as TNT champion wins the AEW World Championship also, bro. He'll be the first one in the company. Christened Goldberg 2.0. Boom, we're off to the races, bro.
the Hardys beat the Young Bucks. I don't really care. Jeff Hardy looked awful in this match. He's kind of like a lost puppy dog, just kind of like roaming around in the crowd at this
Oh.
point. Like, if that's his new
Well.
gimmick, I don't really get it. Matt Hardy can't move anymore. Let
Nope.
Matt Hardy just be a manager. I mean, at this point, I think it's time to do Broken Matt and Brother Nero, because they are both broken. Like, these guys, they're just physically, they can't do what they need to do anymore. The Bucks tried, but I mean, you can only do so much with two
They did
guys who
try.
can't move.
You're right. The Bucks did try, man, and honestly, they done well. I hate to say it, but they really did. The Bucks, yeah, man. I mean, as far as the Hardys go, Jeff looked like he was on Soma's, bro.
Something
Like
was-
seriously,
something was
like I
wrong.
was saying, it was SomaSlam for Jeff Hardy, bro. I mean, seriously.
So-
I know,
love it.
I know, it's fucked up, but
SummerSlam.
you can have a Royal Rumble with all the Somas, bro. I'm talking about with the Soma guys. Oof, it'd be like a SummerSlam, like I said. But yeah, dude, he was off his head. He was doing something. But you know what, dude? His swanton was actually on point this time, bro.
Hey, at least he knows how to almost fall on his head. I mean,
That's true too. I mean, that was Matt though. And speaking of cosplaying and stuff like that, they cosplayed Matt Hardy falling from the top rope when he done his version 1. And
I popped.
that's funny though. That's
I
true.
popped.
I popped too. I laughed as well. But that's the problem too, actually, Jargo, man. Do you like all this cosplaying shit? I mean, even in the main event we had it, bro.
No.
Especially with the cosplaying of Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yeah, I'm kind of over it.
Big
Kind of over
time.
it. I loved Bret Hart, but
Me too.
I'm kind of over it. Jade
crazy,
Cargill beats Anna Jay. I'm
Should have been in
surprised.
10 seconds.
I'm surprised it went 7.5 minutes. I
Unbelievable.
mean, just I don't get it.
It's
And now
stupid.
Athena showing up, former Ember Moon, like that's cool. But
That's it. It's just cool, bro.
yeah, I don't feel a whole lot of substance.
They need to fucking recruit more your upper card female wrestlers right now, man.
What's out there? What's available?
Well, possibly Sasha Banks. I mean,
Well,
Actually, I've got an
there's that
idea.
dumpster fire, but
here's an idea, actually, Jargo. Why not fucking both companies do a trade for possibly Sasha Banks and MJF? One goes one way, the other one goes the other way. Everyone's happy. That fucking makes a lot of sense, bro.
yeah, no, I'd be down with that. I guess. I mean,
Could
At this
that
point,
possibly happen?
I mean, they're both headaches to the companies that they're in. I mean, and I don't even say that disrespectfully of either one. It's just, much like myself, there's superficial dicks with a diva perception, it's just,
Absolutely. And who's the biggest star right now? Who would you be more happy with? I think that's a pretty even trade.
I would much rather have MJF.
So would I.
I mean,
But still, Sasha Banks would be pretty hot if they could manage that.
but I mean, with that said, right? Like, I've gotten to the point, especially since moving to Indiana, where I enjoy watching the WNBA more than I enjoy watching the NBA. But that does not mean in any plane of existence that I'm trading Sabrina Inushku for LeBron James. Like, one of those
Right,
people
that's
is going to
true
put
too.
asses in seats, and
That's
the other
true.
one is Sasha Banks. I mean,
But in wrestling, it's a little bit different, the context, though, of that.
not really. I
You
mean,
don't think so?
look at how Evolution sold as a pay-per-view.
That's true. That was pretty bad. That was real bad. And it wasn't a bad show. I actually didn't mind the
No,
show.
but
That's what's funny.
it's men's sports and women's sports. They don't draw the same. That's not because of the talent. That's just
just
the
women.
reality.
You're right. I mean, only women's tennis, and maybe now women's soccer is coming up a little bit, but women's tennis is definitely the only one where people look at it pretty sort of evenly with the men.
Yeah, but which one draws more people?
It's still the men, but a good women's game like say Serena Williams
Absolutely.
and Ash Barty, say, right? That he's going to draw. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's still going to get eyeballs.
What's going to draw is the stars, and Serena Williams is a star, and she's marketed like a star.
Right,
And
absolutely.
nobody inside of a WWE context is marketed like a star. Nobody.
It's just maybe Ronda Rousey, dude.
No,
You don't think so?
No. I mean, Ronda Rousey is a star because Ronda Rousey was a star before she got to the WWE. There's nothing
True.
WWE is doing that has grown the star that is Ronda Rousey.
That's true too. No, I can see that. No, you're right. Well, yeah. I mean, maybe they work something out like that. Who knows? I mean, it could be a win-win for both companies, though, dude.
House of Black and Triangulo de la Muerta was terrible. And I like all these guys' talents, but it was move, and then a couple more moves. There was no selling whatsoever. It was just absolute insane action for 15 minutes and 35 seconds. Even if you would have taken, 15 minutes worth of moves and used 35 seconds to sell, it would have been better than it was, because it was just 15 minutes and 32 seconds of moves and then a 3 count.
It's nuts, dude. And on top of that, once again, the Death Triangle take another L, bro. Again.
Yeah, but I feel like there's more to be made with House of Black than there is with Death Triangle. Of course.
Absolutely there is. And that's why it was a bad matchup in the first place.
And for the love of God, just turn Penta heel and put him in the House of Black.
Even Pac, man.
Ugh.
Like, seriously,
make Ray Phoenix the baby face. I mean, just brother versus brother, black versus white. Like, cool. I'm down with it, but it's not working.
I mean, it's so obvious too. It's there, but they won't do it.
Britt Baker defeats Ruby Soho. Adam Cole defeats Samoa Joe. So we have the couple, the king and queen of hearts, if you will, with Adam Cole and Britt Baker. I didn't like Samoa Joe even being in this match. I kind of wanted them to do Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole, just to kind of advance that story of the undisputed elite and where things kind of stand.
And they were doing that in WWE also in NXT, right. So it makes sense.
Adam Cole gets the win. I like that because you needed to rebuild Adam Cole. He needed a big win. Totally down with that. Britt Baker defeating Ruby Soho 99.999% of the time I am fine with. This was not this is like that 0.001 for me, because you need to make stars inside of that women's division, and you're never going to do it if you just keep having Britt beat them. Like, at a certain point, Britt Baker has to lose a fucking match clean so that you can elevate other people up the card to her level. That's the way this whole Thunder Rosa's chase started, right? But you have to elevate people up the card. The only person that they're elevating is Britt Baker. It's asinine. I don't understand it.
And they should be pushing up, say, Chris Statlander, who's also gaining a bit of traction. And look what they've done with her.
Everybody keeps telling me how fucking great Chris Statlander is, and I've yet to see her do anything that I thought was impressive.
Really?
Anything.
She's been better now, bro.
It doesn't matter if it's her makeup. It doesn't matter if it's her costuming. It doesn't matter if it's the people that she's hanging out with, if it's the attitude, if it's the promo, if it's the moves in the ring. Everything I see is the shits. And everybody keeps telling me how fucking great Chris Statlander is, and I just don't see it.
Really?
You could release her with the Dark Order tomorrow, and I wouldn't even blink.
Wow. I don't know, man. That's a big call. I think she's improved tenfold, actually, especially in the last couple of weeks. But it's not her fault. It's the company's fault for making you think like that, actually, Jago. To be fair, she has been injured most of her time, too, in AEW.
And the alien boop gimmick is stupid.
No more. She's not an alien anymore, bro. She's from New York now, officially. No more alien gimmick, bro. I swear, she really isn't.
It's just
I know, that's stupid, too.
It's just awful. You know what they should have done here? Is they should have done a double turn. Ruby should have cheated to win the match. Nobody likes Ruby all of a sudden. Give her the heat. Turn Britt babyface. Everybody wants to fucking cheer her anyway. Like, why not just turn her? I don't get it.
They're fucking idiots at AEW, Jago. They don't get it either, clearly, dude. I mean, seriously, I know they're listening too. I know they're very aware of what the IWC say on social media and all that shit. But they just want to be they just don't want to do it. For whatever reason. They don't see what we see, clearly.
Well, if they are listening, then listen very, very closely, TK. Listen very closely. Someone teach Paige Van Zant how to wrestle. Because Paige Van Zant could be that star. You could have a main event female talent right there. But she's got to learn how to wrestle. Like, I don't care if I don't see her for a year. Lock her up in a dungeon with freaking Dustin Rhodes and Booker T. Well, actually, if you just want to lock Booker T in a dungeon, I'm fine with that. But put her in with Dustin Rhodes for like a year, Serena Deeb, and have them just teach this girl how to work. Because I think she gets it to the point where she can get through a 6-woman tag, right? But there's no way I would trust her with anything more than that. In a year, I want to see her beat Jade Cargill. I want Jade Cargill to remain undefeated for a year and then have Paige Van Zant beat her. Because whoever beats Jade Cargill, that's going to be a bigger deal than beating Thunder Rosa for the AEW Women's Championship at this point.
And you know what's funny? I dare say Jade Cargill's gotten that TBS championship more over than the AEW Women's Championship. Dude.
Unquestionably.
Like, seriously. So I would have Jade Cargill even win the AEW Women's Championship and let her hold on to both.
Yeah, and she's got the best catchphrase in all of professional wrestling.
That's
Tony, true. Cut the shit. That's the best catchphrase in all of professional wrestling right now.
Tony, cut the shit.
I say it to my dog all the time. Come on, cut the shit. Like all the time. I love it. Best catchphrase.
That is pretty good, though.
Kyle O'Reilly defeats Darby Allin, which is stupid to me. Kyle O'Reilly is a tag team wrestler. He's always going to be a tag team wrestler. Whenever they pushed him as a single in Ring of Honor, didn't work. Pushed him as a single in NXT, didn't work. Pushed him as a single in AEW, guess what? It's not going to work. It's 100%. Just not.
I agree with you 100%.
And sacrificing Darby for that, I don't understand.
For what reason also? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
It done nothing for these guys. If anything, it makes Darby worse, and it does nothing for Kyle.
Yep, agreed. Thunder Rosa, Serena Deeb, 16 minutes, 55 seconds. Seems pretty good. And I like the match. It's just there was no heat. And
no one really cared by this point either, dude. It felt like, which is a shame too, because they tried.
Why am I supposed to dislike Serena Deeb?
You tell me. What is it to dislike about Serena Deeb, really?
I mean, they present her as a heel. All she does is, she's an underdog story who's been fighting for years, is finally getting her big opportunity, and she goes out and she beats people up.
Yeah. So why should we hate her?
Why do I dislike this again? Like,
But
Doesn't
it's
make
true.
any
But there's
sense.
no substance either, though, to a
Nope.
gimmick. That's the problem,
Agreed.
Jago. That's the issue, man. And they really need to do something about that. I'm sure she's aware herself. So I don't know if it's got to do with her or if it's got to do with AEW. But I've been saying this for a long time, man. I really have. And I hate to say it because
She's a
really she's
great talent.
probably absolutely the best talent, probably in terms of in between those ropes in all of women's wrestling.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Jericho Appreciation Society defeat the LA Blackpool Combat Club. This I gave negative 18 stars. I think I hated everything about this.
Me too.
It was overindulgent. It was. I don't care for Stadium Stampede. I'm not a big fan of war games, blood and guts, whatever you want to call it. Like this is, it's just too over the top for me. I don't even enjoy these kind of matches. It's just mass freaking chaos.
That's all it was. I mean, really, it was just blood and guts. It felt like, again, they were literally cosplaying Anita, Terry Funk, Cactus Jack. Like, it just, I don't know, bro. That's what it felt like for me. And this is just a mess. And what business does wrestlers like, Brian Danielson got to do with this type of shit? I mean, really,
Right.
I wouldn't be associating myself. Look, unless he wanted to do it and he wants to have a bit of fun, cool. But why? What for, man? And that finish to me was just ridiculous, dude.
The one guy you should have protected inside of this match, the one guy is the guy who ends up passing out and you call the match off.
I can't believe that, dude. When you really think about it, isn't that crazy or what?
I don't understand it. I don't understand that whatsoever. I thought the best thing of this entire program was the Eddie Kingston promo that he cut on the pre-show. Did you see that promo?
I saw that. I did actually see that. But it was very, I don't want to say like, man, why now? I feel like it's a little too late, man. We should have saw this on television, say on Dynamite or Rampage. But instead we get it on a pre-show. By that point, am I supposed to care?
Nope. Completely
do you know what I'm saying? And that's my issue with that. It was great, but I don't think anyone gave a shit.
Yep. Jurassic Express defeats Swerve Lee and Team Taz. I feel like it's time for Jurassic Express to lose these belts, but
it is
Keith Lee and Swerve, not the team to lose them to. Team Taz, not the team to lose them to. It's got to be FTR. I mean, FTR is the best freaking tag team in the world right now, and everybody knows it.
Well, you're right, but at the same time, I did predict Jurassic Express to get the win, and everyone thought I was crazy, right?
I did as
but
well.
when you look so when you look at the matchup, why would Swerve or Keith Lee or Team Taz win this match when they're bickering with each other anyway? So that's not going to happen. So it was obvious that the Jurassic Express were going to win, but I hate them as tag champs. And yeah, I guess it would have to be FTR, like you said, Jago, are the only logical opponents to take those straps away from them.
Well, I do this idiot thing in my brain where it's like I look at the roster and I say, okay, the champions should be boom, boom, boom. And it's typically like the tag team champions, I think, should be the best tag team in the company. Crazy, absolutely. Right?
Right.
I mean, and then the same way with, the men's and the women's. And
well, for whatever reason, they see shit differently. They think for whatever reason, those belts are going to make the guys. So that means money. Bullshit.
The guys make the belts. The belts never make the guys.
Absolutely. 100%.
And then you have CM Punk defeating Hangman Page, 25 minutes and 40 seconds. We talked about it, Jimmy. I mean, I'm fine with it. Switchblade Jay White already sold out the United Center for Forbidden Door.
And quickly, too.
Did you see his comment on Twitter about it? All he said was, did I do it again? And it was like, you piece of shit.
How he sold out Madison Square Garden as well.
Yes. I mean, it's just like, you piece of shit. Come on, bro. You did not single-handedly sell out Madison Square Garden. He's trying to miss it. Like, if he says it enough times, it'll just become fact.
Dude, he's so good, man. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. This guy is so fucking good. The more I see Jay White, the more I like him every time, bro. And I've been a fan of his for years now. But man, he's just so good, man. I want to see him in a prominent role in fucking AEW, like properly. I want to see him actually do a promo. And I'm not talking about announcing the Forbidden Door. I'm talking about actually doing a Jay White-esque promo.
Well, Jay White did make one comment, and I kind of like this idea. Jay White made a comment when he announced Forbidden Door. He said, "This is not about AEW. It's not about New Japan. It's all about Bullet Club." Right?
Yeah,
and I like that. I like that. So maybe we could just take Bullet Club Japan and Bullet Club America and put them together, right? So you can have like 5 guys from the Super Bullet Club Undisputed Elite, and
Super Bullet,
and they could take on 5 other guys. Maybe
Well,
if we only had another faction that existed
hold on.
both in New Japan Pro Wrestling and in AEW, if we only had another faction like that.
Well, there is Best Friends, but
chaos.
But let me just say,
come on,
your wish might have come true, because they did announce today on Dynamite this coming week. Get this, the Super Clique, as in the Bucks and Adam Cole and fucking Red Dragon and Hikuleo from Bullet Club, bro. There you go. There's something happening. Who are they taking on? Actually, I forgot who they're taking on, but that sort of stood out. I'll find out now who they're taking on.
Well, you know who they should take on at Forbidden Door?
Who's that?
Cody, get your wallet out. Los Ingobernables.
Well, hey! I'm glad you saw what happened.
Yes, the brothers have reunited.
Absolutely.
Oh man, Rush and Andrade. Maybe you throw in a Tetsuya Naito, a Shingo Takagi, and then you need one more guy.
Tanahashi, bro. Takahashi, sorry.
No. I think you need a debut, and you need to bring in the other brother.
Oh, true.
Can we get some Dragon Lee up in AEW? If you're going to have El Idolo and you're going to have Rush, maybe can we get a Dragon Lee?
Is he still doing shit with New Japan also?
Well, I would have thought he would have been in Best of Super Juniors. But
I don't think he really has been doing much with New Japan lately.
I don't think he's been doing much of anything since his baby girl was born.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I didn't actually realize. Well, yeah, it makes sense to bring him in, right? I mean, has he had a match in AEW before?
No.
Maybe one? Never?
No, not to the best of my knowledge.
Well, Rush did also say on Facebook or Twitter, one of those on social media, that there's a new home of Los Ingobernables, and that is All Elite Wrestling, bro.
So
there's going to have to be a third one. Because
is this good? Is this good?
I'm excited. I'm not going to lie. I mean,
I love Rush, but
absolutely, but he's
not so well known as the best locker room guy,
right?
What you see is what you get with Rush.
Like, I don't know, man. Time will tell. At least El Idolo, as in Andrade or La Sombra. Hopefully, we get La Sombra making an appearance again. Oh no! No! Please, do not. I don't want to see that shit. No way, dude. If he's part of Los, can you imagine that? Woo, Los Ingobernables or some shit.
I thought you were doing the Macarena there for a second, Jimmy.
No, you know how he does that shit before he sort of struts? It's because I'm sitting down. If I was standing up, you'll know what I'm doing. And then he just falls onto the canvas anyway. I mean, seriously, I could see that, bro. If they allow him to actually join AEW because of his past, if you get my drift.
Dear God.
But it'd be funny, but I don't want that to happen. Please, no. Lord, no.
God. Please, God.
No. But there got to be a third one, because if they're going to debut the trios belts, like apparently they are, well, it only makes sense for one more to join up.
Hashtag no more belts. I hate the idea of trios titles. They've never worked anywhere other than Mexico.
Right.
The Never titles don't work in Japan. The ROH 6-man titles never worked. Lucha Underground, I guess, is kind of that bridge, that little bit of an exception, but trio spells just don't work in the West. They never have.
Absolutely not.
Jimmy
But I'm
T.
hoping to see. Oh yeah, go for it.
No. What were you going to say?
I was going to say one more thing about Los Ingobernables. I do want to see LIJ and the OG LI join forces, man. I just want to see it. That's all I want to see.
Yep. I mean, that's where Naito learned it, was from La Sombra.
Right.
So
Absolutely. And like, if people know the eye gesture, and I've said this a million times, I mean, he made that hot.
It's racist,
and that was
as
racial,
shit.
right?
It's
It was
as
racist shit because the Mexicans used to say to him, "Open your eyes."
Open your eyes.
So he
Yep.
did. So he did all right, and absolutely turned that into something that's one of the best things in wrestling, in my opinion.
He's made a couple dollars off of it.
Absolutely, smart man.
Couple. Jimmy T, we are at 1 hour and 5 minutes. I told you we'd get the AEW review done in an hour. We are goddamn
true.
professionals. Is there anything that you want to plug, promote, get over before we get out of here today?
Well, let's plug the blow off first, because where you can catch us right here at theblowofpod.com. Also, right there on the bottom. Also, please like and subscribe at the pwcnetwork.podbean.com. And if you want to follow me, you can at DJ Mass Effects and at the PWC Network. Also, channelattitude.com and HamimMediaGroup.podbean.com, where you can also find us right here.
See, he's been doing this for 2 months without me. He gets all the plugs in. I don't even have to like coax him anymore for the Channel Attitude plug or the Hameen Media Group plug. The Ayatollah Ben Hameen gave him a $5 face slap. He learned all of his plugs. Guys, it's great to be back. I will be back in your ear holes soon. We're working on a new episode of Destino that I think is actually going to be in coordination with NoDQ.com. So I think that could be a bit of fun. Get our boy Noah Foster on and talk about a little bit of Dominion. So, and we will be back here next week for the blow off, and Saturday tentatively for Rampage Uncaged, presented by the Hameen Media Group. So we will talk to you next time, an all new edition of the blow off. For now, we're off like a prom dress. See ya.
Ciao.